This is WTF the show. Glad you guys can hang out with me some more. Man, it's going to be a jam-packed show. But before we get into it, you can always support us on patreon.com, WTF-TV. Help us out. We're a patriotic network, patriotic channel. Anytime you guys want to help us out, like I said, WTF-TV at patreon.com. Excellent show. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Holy crap. Man, I'm going to tell you something. What happened the other day was excellent. This news lady, I don't know where she was from, don't know what she was doing, but she caught Donald Trump's lawyer in a bad situation, at a bad time for her, and he let her know about it. Man, watch this. Once it's done, I'm gonna tell you what I think. This lady, she done screwed up. Check it out.
For everything he did during his period in office. Are you expecting to face more charges against Mr. Trump in the near future, and do you anticipate being part of that defense?
No, that's just political rhetoric, and I was hopeful that something would come out of this, that the political rhetoric would stop out of Washington, D.C., but I guess apparently it hasn't.
Were you, though, surprised to hear those words coming from the leader of the Republican Party in the Senate?
I'm not surprised to hear a politician say anything at all. No.
Well, throughout the trial, you denied that Mr. Trump had a role in inciting the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol. You argued, first of all, that there was no insurrection, but during your closing arguments, you seemingly admitted that there was, in fact, an insurrection, using that word, saying that was not up for debate. What role did the former president play?
You didn't understand the case. I used the word
I'll give you the opportunity to clarify, sir.
Sure. I used the word insurrection in my closing argument when quoting the charging documents. What happened at the Capitol on January 6th is absolutely horrific. But what happened at the Capitol during this trial was not too far away from that. The prosecutors in this case doctored evidence. They did not investigate this case, and when they had to come to the court of the Senate to put their case on, because they hadn't done any investigation, they doctored evidence. It was absolutely shocking, I think, when we discovered it and we were able to expose it and put it out. I think it turned a lot of senators. The American people should not be putting up with this. They need to look at who these House managers were and look to see whether these are the folks they want representing them. It was shocking to me. Wouldn't have believed it.
Let's follow up with a point that you're making right now about the House managers, as you say, doctoring evidence, and the argument.
They didn't deny
for our viewers.
They didn't deny it. I put it in front of them 3 times.
To be clear for our viewers, what you're talking about now is a check mark. That's a verification on Twitter that did not exist on that particular tweet. A 2020 that should have actually read 2021, and the selective editing, you say, of the tapes. Is that the doctored evidence of what you're speaking?
Wait, that's not enough for you? That's not enough for you? Wait, no,
sir,
no.
I'm trying.
Listen,
I am not a juror in this trial. What I'm trying to be clear.
Oh, it's getting good. Oh, keep watching this. This is going to be good stuff, man. I'm loving it.
It's not okay
not everybody,
to doctor
sir,
a little bit of evidence.
Respectfully. I have not said it is okay.
Ma'am, your question is
I want to be clear for our viewers.
Listen, what has to happen is
about what exactly you're saying when you say doctored evidence.
The media has to start telling the right story in this country. The media is trying to divide this country. You are bloodthirsty for ratings, and as such, you're asking questions now that are already set up with a fact pattern. I can't believe you would ask me a question indicating that it's all right just to doctor a little bit of evidence. There's more stuff that we uncovered that they doctored, to be frank with you, and perhaps that will come out one day. But we won this case, and I'm not a sore loser, but what happened, or a sore winner, I should say, but what should happen is somebody should look at the conduct of these House managers. It's unconscionable, aside from all of the due process violations that my client had. And the media should be looking at a square, straight way. The straight way. When I watch the news, I watch one station and it's raining. I watch another station at the same time and it's sunny. Your coverage is so slanted, it's got to stop. You guys have to stop and start reporting more like PBS does rather than a TV news show that doesn't have any journalistic integrity at all. What I'm telling you is that they doctored evidence. And I believe your question says, well, it's only a Twitter check and changing a year of a date here. They switched the date.
See, here's the thing. She's actually trying to say that it is okay for you to doctor evidence and put it into the court system as if it were right. It's illegal. What happens when you're in a courtroom is if when you put something, let's say the tweet, right? They doctored the tweet, entered it into evidence. Now, when you enter that evidence, and you can watch any court show, whatever. If you enter in evidence something that you know is factually wrong, and you're found out, the judge, who is a very, very powerful person, from what I understand, when the judge finds this out, and they try to pass off bad evidence as actual truthful evidence, and they knowingly it's wrong, they'll more than likely throw out the case. The attorneys involved in this more than likely will face, if not disbarment, also they will be prosecuted for what they did. Depends on what kind of a judge they've got. But what they did, what the Democrats did, doctoring evidence and submitting it as real factual evidence, is illegal in any courtroom. What they did was wrong. They tried to pass it off as good. And this is what the attorney's trying to say. Look, you can't do this in court of law. Court of law, your butt will be in jail faster than you can think about it. So let's keep going.
And I believe your question says, well, it's only a Twitter check and changing a year of a date here. They switched the date of a Twitter a year to try to connect it to this case. That's not a small thing, ma'am. The other thing they did is they put a check mark on something to make it look like it was a validated account when it wasn't. And when they were caught, they didn't say anything about it. They didn't even try to come up with an excuse about it. And that's not the way our prosecutors or our government officials should be conducting themselves. And the media shouldn't be letting them get away with it either. I'm tired of the biased media on both sides, left and right. What this country wants, what this country needs, is this country to come together, to take the left and the right and find a middle ground and start responsibly being our public officials, our elected officials. And one of the reasons why they do it is because of the media. Because the media wants to tell their narrative rather than just telling it like it is. And frankly, I'm tired of it. I'm not a media, I'm not in front of your cameras all the time, but what I've been subjected to this last week.
I understand, and I've given you the opportunity.
You don't want to hear the truth. Yeah. Okay.
I've given you the opportunity. I will remind you that what I said was that for our viewers who have not been following all of the hours of this trial, to be clear about what you are speaking about. And I understand
I'm speaking
that you
about
seem
the House manager's
upset.
failure to prove their case. That's what I'm telling you. They weren't able to prove their case.
Acquittal. You have won the acquittal of your client.
Yes,
and if you'd like to continue to talk about this conversation, we can have that discussion.
I don't need to.
But for me to ask a question,
a slanted question that was set up to say it's okay for them to cheat. That was your question. Isn't it okay for them to cheat?
I didn't say that.
It's just a little bit. You said, to be fair, it was only a check on the Twitter. That's what you said. You got to live by your words. That's the problem.
That was good. I enjoyed that. Now, let's think about this. Has the Democrats... Well, I'm going to say this. It's always been the Republicans. Republicans have always said there's voting problems everywhere. Democrats have never said anything like that. I don't want you to prove to me that they've ever done it. What's that? Oh, they have? When?
We are in a fight.
Democrats are fighting as hard as we can.
Democrats are standing up to fight.
We know how to fight. We like a good fight.
Democrats are going to fight like hell.
We fight like hell.
I'm going to fight like hell.
I will fight like hell.
We're going to fight like hell.
I'm going to fight like hell.
Fight like hell.
I will fight like hell.
We have to fight like hell.
I, and I know many other senators and members of the House, will fight like hell.
We are going to fight like hell.
We're going to fight like hell.
We'll fight like hell.
And we just have to fight.
We're going to fight. We are going to fight. We're going to fight. We're going to fight.
Because you'll fight.
To fight.
Political revolution. That means that millions have got to stand up and fight.
Fight in Congress, fight in the courts, fight in the streets.
In the Congress, in the courts, and in the streets.
But can you imagine telling your supporters that the only way you could possibly lose is if an American election was rigged and stolen from you? And ask yourself whether you've ever seen anyone at any level of government make the same claim about their own election.
If Stacey Abrams doesn't win in Georgia, they stole it. It's clear. It's clear. And I say that publicly, it's clear.
You can run the best campaign. You can even become the nominee. And you can have the election stolen from you.
He knows he's an illegitimate president. He knows that there were a bunch of different reasons why the election turned out the way it did.
Votes remain to be counted. There are voices that were waiting to be heard. And I will not concede.
And I respect where you're coming from, and I respect the issues that you're raising. You're not answering the question. Do you think it was...
What I'm not doing.
You're not using the word legitimate.
There are still legitimate concerns over the integrity of our elections and of ensuring the principle of one person, one vote.
I agree with tens of millions of Americans who are very worried that when they cast the ballot on an electronic voting machine, that there is no paper trail to record that vote.
But constantly shifting vote tallies in Ohio and malfunctioning electronic machines which may not have paper receipts have led to additional loss of confidence by the public. This is their only opportunity to have this debate while the country is listening, and it is appropriate to do so.
Well, I'll be damned. I guess I was wrong. Well, that's it for this portion. I'll be right back. We'll get back going. All right. What I have here for this little segment, I want you to see. How many parents out there? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. You. Okay. Any of you parents out there, what if you found out, we'll see, your daughter was being spied on as she's getting dressed in her room, right? Right? You got this crazy little, you got some freaks running around the neighborhood wanting to check out your kids. I got a 9-year-old. If I catch somebody trying to check in her, they will never find him. I don't care how old he is. But I want you to check this out. This is a mom that should get Parent of the Year. Hell, maybe even Parent of the Decade. Check this out.
Even if you think you can run from the cops, good luck getting past this mom.
I figured at least I could do if I got them down, tripped them up, whatever, then they, have a chance to get caught up.
That's Phyllis Pena in the red shirt.
First instinct was just to make sure he didn't go any further.
Captured on police dash cam, taking down a man she says was trying to look into her 15-year-old daughter's bedroom window early on a Sunday morning.
My kids are my life, and, just making sure I protect them pretty much.
Lake Jackson Police Sergeant Roy Welch gave her some credit.
It was a pretty good tackle.
He told us the suspect is 19-year-old Zane Hawkins. Police found Hawkins nearby, but he tried to get away. They say he started running back towards Mom, who moved in and made the tackle. Her daughter helped hold down the suspect until officers caught up.
Not very often that we have somebody that actually steps in and puts themselves in harm's way to assist in apprehending somebody.
What'd you think about Mom? Mom whipping that ass. Wow, we need more parents like her. We do have a whole lot. We just need to get more. Be back in a minute. Alright, I'm back. Man, rolling along. Told you this is going to be a good show. Told you. Okay, got a question for you. What happens when one of your most loyal leftist news people get turned on? What happens? Well, I tell you what, Van Jones figured it out. It didn't turn out well for him. Check it out.
Threading the middle and trying to unite people. But there are those who really accuse you of being a political opportunist, a chameleon, so to speak, who provided a racial cover for former disgraced, twice impeached President Trump. You said this, and I quote, "Donald Trump, and I get beat up by liberals every time I say this, but I'm going to keep saying it. He has done good stuff for the black community, opportunity zone stuff, black college stuff. There's a side to Donald Trump that I think he does not get enough credit for." Yet, just recently, you cried on CNN when Joe Biden was elected the 46th president, and you said it's easier to be a parent now. Character matters now. Truth matters. You even mentioned George Floyd and said a lot of people felt they couldn't breathe. People in the black community don't trust you anymore. What is your response?
Well, I don't think that's true. The entire quote I said was that Trump has done a lot of good stuff he doesn't get credit for. And then I went on to say the reason I didn't get credit for it is because he's done all this horrific stuff, said all this horrific stuff, and it completely erases what he's done. But what happens is social media will take the clip, but they won't show the full context. And so what I will say is this.
Well, what happened, Mr. Van Jones? Mr. Left Wing, I'm the man. I'm black. I'm the man. What happened? What happened to you? You got shit on by your own people. They're turning on your own people. Damn. See now, Mr. Jones? Mr. Van Jones? See what happens when people do the same thing to you you've done to President Trump, former President Trump, for 5 years. 5 years. You guys have done this to him. Sucks to be you, doesn't it? Back in a minute. All right. I got one piece I want you to see here. If you don't listen to anything about how the press has done for Joe Biden, if you don't listen to anything where I've told you before, especially last week, Joe Biden's people wanted you to submit your questions ahead of time for their press conferences. That way they can do better on their stuff, right? If you don't listen to that, I want you to listen to this girl right here. This is before. This is in Kenosha, Wisconsin. It's actually not that far from where I'm living right now. But I want you guys to listen to this. They got caught big time. And this girl put them out there. I want you to check this out.
Hello, my name is Portia Bennett. I'm just going to be honest, Mr. Biden. I was told to go off this paper, but I can't. You need the truth. And I'm part of the truth. I was born here, raised here. First 8th grade class of the school that was named after his mother. So I have to give you the truth of the people. And the truth of the matter is we are heavily angry. Not angry as to where people say, oh, they're protesting. There's a difference between a protester and a rioter. A very big difference. We protest to get our voices heard. We protest to show that not just blacks are tired of what's going on. As you can see, there are blacks, whites, Muslims, Chinese, Hispanic that are out there. We came together to help get this community together as well because we live here and we want it to stay the way we've always had it.
Well, all right, that's all the time I have for today. I'm going to leave you off with a little segment I found from Smokey Robinson when he was doing the Def Jam poetry session. I seen this. I loved it. I've watched it so many times. I can't tell you how many times I've seen it. It's good stuff. It's just as true today as it was when he done it years ago on Def Jam Poetry. But before I get to that, what I want you to do is I want you to do me a favor. I need you guys to do me a favor. I need you to look down. Look down there. Hit that like, subscribe button. Hit the bell for notifications. Anytime I go live, make a new video, you guys be first to know. Share this video. Share this, people. Anybody you know that wants news that's no BS. We're getting rolling. I can't wait to get back into some more shows. It's gonna be fun. Also, you guys can always help us out on patreon.com. WTF TV. Help us out. We're good people. I'm good people. You guys are good people. Man, this has been a great one. So I'm going to finish you off with this. With this video. It's excellent. I hope you guys have a very good week. I'll catch you next time.
I love being black. I love being called black. I love being an American. I love being a black American. But as a black man in this country, I think it's a shame that every few years we get a change of name. Since those first ships arrived here from Africa that came across the sea, there were already black men in this country who were free. And as for those who came over on those terrible boats, they were called nigger and slave and told what to do and how to behave. And then Master started tripping, doing his midnight tipping down to the slave shacks where he forced he and great-great-grandma to be together. And if great-great-grandpa protested, he got tarred and feathered. And at the same time, the black men in the country who were free were mating with the tribes like the Apache and the Cherokee. And as a result of all that, we're a parade of every shade. And in this late day and age, you can be sure there ain't too many of us in this country whose bloodline is pure. But according to a geographical genealogy study published in Time magazine, the black African people were the first on the scene. So for what it's worth, the black African people were the first on earth, and through migration, our characteristics started to change and rearrange to adapt to whatever climate we migrated to. And that's how I became me, and you became you. So if we're going to go back, let's go all the way back. And if Adam was black and Eve was black, then that kind of makes it a natural fact that everybody in America is an African American. Everybody in Europe is an African European, everybody in the Orient is an African Asian, and so on and so on. That is, if the origin of man is what we're going to go on. And if one drop of black blood makes you black like they say, then everybody's black anyway. So quit trying to change my identity. I'm already who I was meant to be. I'm a black American born and raised. And Brother James Brown wrote a wonderful phrase. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Because I'm proud to be black. And I ain't never lived in Africa. And because my great-great-granddaddy on my daddy's side did, don't mean I want to go back. Now, I have nothing against Africa. It's where some of the most beautiful places and people in the world are found. But I've been blessed to go a lot of places in this world. And if you ask me where I choose to live, I pick America, hands down. Now, by and by, we were called Negroes, and after a while, that name was banished. Anyway, Negro is just how you say black in Spanish. Then we were called colored, but shit, everybody's one color or another, and I think it's a shame that we hold that against each other. And it seems like we reverted back to a time when being called black was an insult, even if it was another black man who said that a fight would result, because we've been so brainwashed that black was wrong till even the yellow niggas and the black niggas couldn't get along. But then came the 1960s, when we struggled and died to be called equal and black, and we walked with pride with our heads held high and our shoulders pushed back, and black was beautiful. But I guess that wasn't good enough, because now here they come with some other stuff. Who comes up with this shit anyway? Was it one or a group of niggas just sitting around one day? Feeling a little insecure again about being called black, and decided that African American sounded a little more exotic. Well, I think you were being a little more neurotic. It's that same mentality that got Amos and Andy put off the air because they were embarrassed about the way the characters spoke. And as a result of that action, a lot of wonderful black actors ended up broke, when we were just laughing and having fun about ourselves. So I say, fuck you if you can't take a joke. You didn't see the Beverly Hillbillies being protested by white folk. And if you think that, of course you think that being called African American sets all black people's minds at ease, since we affectionately call each other nigger, I affectionately say to you, nigga, please. How come I didn't get a chance to vote on who I'd like to be? Who gave you the right to make that decision for me? I ain't under your rule or in your dominion, and I'm entitled to my own opinion. Now, there are some African Americans here, but they recently moved here from places like Kenya, Ethiopia, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Zaire. But not a brother whose family's lived in this country for generations, occupying space in all the locations, New York, Miami, LA, Detroit, Chicago, even if he's wearing a dashiki and sporting an afro. And if you go to Africa in search of your race, you'll find out quick, you're not an African American. You're just a black American in Africa taking up space. Why you keep trying to attach yourself to a continent where even if you got the chance to go and you went, most people there wouldn't even claim you as one of them, as a purebred daughter or son of them. Your heritage is right here now, no matter what you call yourself or what you say. And a lot of people died to make it that way. And if you think America's the leader on inequality and suffering and grieving, how come there's so many people coming and so few leaving? Rather than all this fine thought with America shit you promoting, if you want to change something, use your privilege. Get to the polls, come as a voting. God knows we've earned the right to be called American Americans and be free at last. And rather than you moving forward with progress, you're dwelling in the past. We struggled too long, we've come too far. And to the folks that know who we were, let's be proud of who we are. We're the only people whose name is always a trend. When is this shit gonna end? Look at all the different colors of our skin. Black is not our color, it's our core. It's what we've been living and fighting and dying for. But if you choose to be called African American and that's your preference, then I'll give you that reference. But I know on this issue I don't stand alone on my own. And if I do, then let me be me. And I'd appreciate it if when you see me, you say, there goes a man who says it loud. I'm black. I'm black. I'm a black American, and I'm proud. Because I love being an American. And I love being black. I love being called black. Yeah, I said it, and I don't take it back.